Erin, this is Lori with Soul Sisters Digital Design. Mike had introduced us via email, so I wanted to go ahead and shoot this video to show you how your business is stacking up against your competition online, and also to give you some steps that you can take to improve things. So, as Google crawls the web, it is really looking for three things: content, citations, and backlinks. So those are the things I'm going to be talking about. Now, content just refers to the words and images on your site. Google likes to see between 1,500 and 2,000 words, kind of at a minimum on the page, to give it a good idea of what you do and where you are. The exact amount is going to really depend on the competition and also the number of keywords needed. Now, what's a keyword? A keyword is anything someone might type into a search browser, such as Google, looking for a particular service or product. So let's take a look at what a typical search might look like. I went to Google and I typed in Daycare Nocatee. Nocatee seemed to be kind of your general location and where you were targeting. So that's kind of what I put in. And what you'll see first at the top of the page is what we call the map pack. The top three listed here are going to get the most traffic because, more and more people are using these maps. They're super easy to find. Everything's listed at your fingertips. You've got reviews, you've got, a review score, you've got locations. You can easily see how close something is to someone, to yourself. And so that is why they get used more and more. Well, you want to be in the top three because nobody really clicks the more businesses. And how you do that is, one, you want to have a Google business profile. You do have one. I did notice that you have one. You need to make sure that you fill it out as completely as possible. And you also want to have your name, address, and phone number listed in as many relevant directories on the web as possible. Now, these directories can be anything like Yelp or Yellow Pages, but essentially, the more times you have that happen, so have that name, address, phone number appear in a directory, the more power it gives your profile. Every place you do that is considered a citation. Again, the idea is that your brand begins to be found by Google all over the internet, and the larger that online presence is, the more Google trusts you. Now, I do want to note that when I did click more businesses to find out kind of more precisely where you fell kind of in that scope, you are not showing up for this particular keyword, Daycare Nocatee. So that is something that you would want to make sure you remedy by including it into the different tags within your Google business profile. So back to content for a second. I pulled up your website, which I love it. It's beautiful. I love the watercolor up here. Love the name of your business. It's a very clean, bright page. You've got some really great pictures. People love pictures, and I love how you've got your Instagram feed feeding into your homepage. So that's awesome. However, when I plugged your page into a word counter, I actually found that you're sitting at about 269 words. Given the fact that Google wants that 1,500 to 2,000, you've got a lot of room for growth there. And if you look at kind of just the keywords that it's popping for, none of them are truly what you do. So you want to make sure that there is no doubt in Google's mind that you provide daycare service or homeschool adjunct kind of services, preschool services in the Nocatee, Florida area. And so right now, that's not really coming through effectively. So that's something that you want to look at as you're devising new content. Now, going back to this map for a second, or the Google search for Daycare Nocatee, you've got the map, and then below that you have what we call the organic results. Now, I don't really count when I'm trying to figure out like where somebody ranks in a directory. So here's a Yelp directory of child care and daycare centers near Nocatee. But Primrose Schools is really the top result. And so I'm going to look at them. And then care.com is another directory. RCMA looks like it is more of a social service kind of program. They're providing free child care and VPK. And then KinderCare is the second highest, looks like private daycare. So let's take a look at those two. So you can see that on their page, they have a lot more content. There's a lot more things. And if you click into these things, if you're reading more about these, it's feeding into a lot more content. And then for Crossridge, the same. They've got some more information on this page. They probably have, both of them probably could stand to use a little bit more, but they are definitely beating you in the content stage of things. So as you're devising your content, just really make sure that you place kind of the keywords that you want to be found for that tell Google exactly what kind of people might be interested in your service or product. So for you, you want there to be no doubt that you're a daycare or preschool or all those kinds of things in Nocatee. Now, the other thing I do when I am analyzing is I look at the website through a tool called Ahrefs, and it helps me kind of analyze things. So if I pulled up your site in this tool, and I can see that you are currently getting about 5 unique visitors per month, and that is being driven through 14 keywords. And if I click into those keywords, I can see that Moonbow is one of them, but that isn't really necessarily pertaining to you as a business. I think it's a phrase that people are Googling, and 1,900 people per month are Googling that. You're ranking number 13 for that, so you're kind of high for that. Moon Daycare, 30 people or 30 searches a month are happening for that. And you're in position 31 for that. You can see that over here on these positions, 31, 38, 38, 47, those positions actually refer to where you would end up on the result page. So if someone searched for Montessori Daycare Jacksonville, Florida, or FL, which is happening 40 times per month, you would show up on the 38th spot, which is really the bottom of the 4th page. So that's why you're not really getting any traffic. The only thing bringing some traffic is that Moonbow. Now, in contrast, let's take a look at the Primrose site. Now, for them, they're getting about 32 visits per month, and that's being driven from 18 keywords. And if we drill down and look at what they're getting, so Primrose Nocatee, that's obviously their name. I'm not necessarily going to count that. But Ponte Vedra Daycare, that's getting 20 searches a month. They're in position 7, so they're definitely on the first page. And that's getting them 1 visit per month from that particular keyword. Preschool Ponte Vedra, 30 searches a month. They're in position 8. It's also getting them 1. So that is how that translates. The higher you are in the search results, given that there's volume, the traffic, that's where the traffic comes from. And then for Cross Ridge KinderCare, they're getting 48 visits out of 12 keywords. Now, the last piece of the ranking puzzle is what we call backlinks. So a backlink is a clickable link from one website back to another via hyperlink text. So these links act like an endorsement of your website from other websites and other businesses, which Google again uses to build trust in your business because it sees these other ones vouching for you. Now, not all backlinks are created equal. Those relevant to your website are going to count more, as will those that are local and those that are higher in power. So Google takes a weighted approach to that. Ideally, of course, you want links that are coming in that are as powerful in their own right and super relevant to your business. Now, one of the ways that I can tell kind of where you stand with that is I look at, because there can be thousands of backlinks, but if they're not relevant, they're not powerful, it doesn't really help you that much. So instead, I really look at kind of the referring domains and your overall backlink profile. So these two scores here help to mimic how Google grades that backlink profile. The DR is how does your domain looking as a whole, and the UR, how, like for in this case, how's your homepage looking as far as how powerful are those backlinks and how much does Google trust them. These scores are on a scale of 0 to 100. So for the domain, you're kind of at a 0, and for the homepage, you're at a 3.7. In contrast, if we look at Primrose Schools, they're at a 66 for their domain, so they're pretty, it's pretty powerful and trustworthy. And for the home page, it's about a 0.6. And this is because there's multiple locations, I believe, for Primrose Schools, so all of those locations help to build up that entire domain profile. And then for Cross Ridge, again, they have multiple locations as well. So they're at a 72 and a 0.8 specifically for the Ponte Vedra site. Now, Once all of these things come together, your content, your backlinks, your citations, that's when you begin ranking higher and higher and more customers will find you. I hope you find this information helpful. I always love hearing feedback on this because I really do want these videos to be helpful. I'm going to shoot this over to you in an email and then would love to get on a call to kind of talk about if you have any further questions and if we might be able to help. If we do, I can always do research to figure out exactly what might be realistic for you and for your business and what it would take to reach those goals. Again, my name is Lori with Soul Sisters Digital Design. My number is 352-235-9803. Thanks so much for watching. Look forward to that feedback.